Recording. You guys get to see before we start the meeting, so this is extra special for you since I turn the recording on, and if nobody proves this out, then you're just going to see me talking to my phone. So, let's see, we'll start letting people in here in just un momento. Admit, admit, admit. Oh, so many note takers. Anthony.
I love it when we merge email systems and all of my calendaring goes right out the window.
You left me in suspense there. I'm like, am I in the wrong meeting? I was like, if I'm in the wrong meeting, then there's a whole bunch of other people in the wrong meeting too. So we're just gonna start this one. We're gonna have two office hours, one with this link and one with another link. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, Lord, what a day.
Yeah, I don't know if I was in the right one or not because my link still has said Zoom and not Kaseya Zoom. So
Well, I'm glad we found everybody or we found each other.
it's a joyous reunion.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody.
Yes, all six of us.
There's a whole bunch of people here. And a whole bunch of
Excellent.
note takers, but still a lot of people. Hey Tina, how you doing? How you doing?
Hmm.
All right, I am still letting people in. So I mean, we can start if you
Excellent.
want, or we can
Excellent.
give it a couple minutes. It's up to you. This is a very
Absolutely.
laid back platform, just FYI, guys.
Yes. Anybody who's new here, we do keep this rather informal. So if you have questions, please shout them out. We keep this as easygoing as possible. We have enough stress in our life.
There you go.
Um, Today, anybody who is first joining us, we do this every 2 weeks. We try to talk about, more technical issues, a little bit deeper dive. The SASE calls are fantastic, but they tend to be a little more high level and broad. We're here to answer any of your specific questions about, how to configure a rule. What does this, control do? What does this alert mean? So anybody have any questions off the top that are, burning sensations in your brain?
Sensation in your brain that you don't need to see a doctor for.
I have one, but I wasn't prepared, so I need to like get my thoughts prepared here. I got the beta, is it the EDR integration?
Oh,
It's
cool.
just in beta.
Yes.
Yeah, EDR integration. Okay. And I had my notes here ready for you guys, but I cannot find them right now. But my question was around, and there might not be any support for this yet. So I get it. You can just say we're not even dealing with that yet. But the emails that come in, they don't tell me the org or the device name. So they're very, very vague. And I'm wondering where you guys want feedback on that, or if you even want feedback on that.
I always want feedback.
You,
All
Tina,
right.
we always want feedback, but yeah, it's um um let me take a small step back. Tina, our whole idea around this platform was whether I'm ingesting alerts from an EDR, from Microsoft, from Dropbox, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. I want what your engineers look at in your PSA to be as homogeneous as possible so it's consistent and you know where to look to find the answers. So if you're getting a non-standard or, wildly strange kind of communication from us, yeah, we definitely want to know about that, because that was never our goal. I want this to be as homogenized as possible. And to not,
Okay.
if you're getting alert that something happened, but we're not going to tell you who it happened to or what organization. Yeah, no, that can't be right.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna find one for you.
Yeah,
Are you
please do.
getting it to your email? Or are you getting it like, is there a PSA connection you have?
No, I just have them coming to our email for now. So
Did you see that checkbox where it says show like detailed information?
no, where's that checkbox?
It's new.
Oh,
So if you go under that, the PSA integration, there's a show detailed information, and that will give you like literally everything that like you remember like with respond, it's kind of like or something you might get. I don't know if it's gonna be the same thing if it's the alert, but you might get more detail.
okay. Uh,
I'll have to see.
so the only thing I really find in there, I'm just trying to find one is ooh, okay. I gotta find some for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. We have one of our partners, like for Manage that is integrating it with it. And I was like, please let me know, let me see what you're seeing because I want our team to be able to react on those as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
for
maybe
sure.
I'll send it to you in Discord or something, but
Yeah.
I think I'm just getting our org name in the subject, Datto
Mhm.
EDR system, endpoint device, monitoring event. And then I get, for example, we had a bunch pouring in a device that shouldn't have even been in EDR, so I cleared it out of there. But I the information that I get that meant anything in the email was the alert threat. And in this case, it's dual use tool. So Screen Connect and something else, Team Viewer or something.
Neat.
And then that's pretty much it. Severity high, and then just like my company name on it, not the org, not the device name. And then when I went in to look at the alert in SaaS alerts, it did have more information. So I just
Hmm.
thought like at least the device name and the org, but I'll send you an example just so you can take a look at what's happening there.
Okay. Cool.
Just thought you guys might have some insight into that.
Tina, that's
But
that's
it is
fantastic.
beta, so
No, it is, but this is why it's in beta. So we have partners
Hmm.
like you that help us, because our guys, they do a lot of circular testing. But we test against 50 different things. And the minute we release it to the public, you guys have got it configured 1,000 different ways, and we get that great feedback. So thank you for that. In a case like that, I would love to see in an email or on Discord what you saw in platform, and then what was the truncated version or the distilled down version that was missing some critical data that you were seeing in your inbox.
okay. I'll send that. I'll post that maybe.
Yeah, if it's not something you want to share publicly, then by all means send it out to Ben and I. We'll make sure that gets in front of Adam and that team.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely, love feedback like that. Is anybody else on the call today? Are you anybody else doing any beta testing with CloudTrail or the EDR or anything else like that? Because we got Ignite and Duo and Okta are both coming out of beta eventually. Got a number of different things out there. All right, so not a lot of adopters, not a problem. Anything else that's top of mind? Any other strangeness you've tripped across either in your clients or on the platform itself? Sometimes we don't even know this is happening. Ben, I just got off a call with a partner who uh, didn't even notice that Respond had stopped an attack from Nigeria, a stolen token from Nigeria, and uh, and then one of his engineers had just gone through, noticed it, fixed it, and reset the password and everything else. But Respond had already taken care of it in the background days
Mhm.
ago, and he didn't even know it happened. So we've got some of those things out there that are working, even though we don't notice them. So,
I
Ben,
had
anything?
one.
Go ahead, please, Tina.
It was just like a heart attack kind of moment. I haven't really fine-tuned everything since I first set it up, so I know I need to go back. But at some point when I first came on board with you guys and fell in love with you guys, I watched every video that Ben had ever put out and just put every alert into SaaS alerts. And one of them was the Honeypot one. And so I forgot that I had set this up, but I had thrown a honeypot file like CEO passwords into my my personal OneDrive,
Hmm.
well, my business personal OneDrive, and then also into one of our team's channels synced down through OneDrive. And the other day, I've been really sick and I was out with migraines and I was in bed and I got this alert. I haven't been on anything. And the alerts start pouring in about this Honeypot file. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't handle this right now. Like, Kale, can you please disable my account? Like, what the hell's going on? And I just want to know if you guys have seen this because it was like, what happened was I had responded to a client had emailed, they were looking for just direct deposit information. So on
Hmm.
my phone, I'd responded to the email and I'd browsed to OneDrive to link a void check to send to them. So what that must have done was it must have kicked off like a file sync or an offline download of the data that I browsed to, maybe,
Mhm.
in the OneDrive app on my phone. And because I was so out of it, I didn't really remember that I had done it and or like thought that I had done anything out of the ordinary. So when these alerts started pouring in, I had a bit of a freak out. Have you guys seen that before? Or had
Oh yeah.
anybody
I
bring that up?
I have not because I didn't know that a OneDrive sync, like, again, if the device goes out of connection for a while and comes back, when those catch up, I wonder how the rule was crafted, Ben.
It's a file download.
Yeah,
Okay, it
down.
was a
It's like
file download.
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you touch that file. And so my app touched the file, and in theory, it should not. A mobile app on your phone. And again, this is just my misunderstanding of the app on the phone. I didn't even think about it, but it shouldn't kick off a download of my entire personal store of data just to go browse to attach a void check and send that, right? But it did something. So I just thought that was pretty funny. And Ben might see that sometimes. I don't know, in managed.
I will say this, Tina, and I'll get to you in just a second, Enrique. Um, that exact scenario is something that I've seen partners leverage to have that conversation with their clients. Hey, did you know that every time somebody gets a new phone for their birthday, all of your company data is now syncing on that unmanaged device? This might be an excuse to stop using things that are stored locally and store them only in the cloud where you've got a lot more control and visibility. Now, obviously, for some people, they've habitualized having that data locally. They might have needs because they're out in the boonies and they're going off to the oil patch and they're disconnected from the universe, and they don't have a um, um, they don't have a satellite phone. So there are some use cases for it, but that is the exact scenario, where we've seen partners sort of talk about, let's get data only on managed devices, or let's keep data only in the cloud and nothing stored locally, because then I'm not so device centric. I'm much more
But
account centric.
this isn't even that situation because we use mobile application management. So these are fully managed applications on my
Fully managed
iPhone.
devices. Yeah.
And there's you can't move data, you can't even take a screenshot of Teams and text it. Like that's locked down on my phone fully. So it wasn't even like,
It's
yeah,
interesting.
When there's
it
exceptions you
was.
can make to it as well, like so OneDrive has a specific user agent that you can exempt from that rule as well. So that might help you a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when
And
it
it's never happened with a client. It's not a concern. It was me. It was my account. Tina Thompson account was Honeypot going nuts and
it's
compromised.
funny.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it
I
wasn't
thought it was a
funny,
funny little
Ben.
rule. I thought it was a funny little rule because it was like, I don't know if you ever watched John Strand stuff, but he has this Word document that he puts code into that you basically, if you open the document, it reaches out to like a server and says, so and so opened it from this IP address, this location. So there was like a honeypot file that you can put on a file server. I was like, there's got to be
Awesome.
something for like OneDrive. So if somebody touches this file, like CEO passwords, like you shouldn't be in there at all.
Yeah, it's
It's
a good
funny.
idea. And
I like
it's
it.
pretty standard. Yeah, I liked it, but I ran into this issue and had a heart attack. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to
that's
share that in
weird.
case somebody else does.
You're the first person
Enrique,
I've had that have used that rule, so
Oh, no, Gina is not the only one I have seen
Only
that
one I
use,
know
Ben.
of.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are.
Enrique, do you have any honeypot files in your world?
Good morning, guys. So now I forgot what I was going to say. You never can stop me, Anthony. My brain fries. It hits the wall. No, going back to, I imagine I came in late. Sorry about that. What Tina was mentioning, we run into this OneDrive thingy, very common with all our customers. When you sync your mobile app, you're not downloading the file, but OneDrive is indexing your catalog of file labels so it can show it on your display. And that touches the files. And for some reason, they get tagged as being modified. Um, you sync a new computer, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we've even have some customers that have put it up to 1,000, and I'm like, what's the purpose of that? I mean, just live with the alert here or there. We're not. We have it, I think, at 100. But yeah, it's common. You don't have to actually be deleting the file or downloading it for it to populate.
Huh.
You turn on a new computer, connect your OneDrive, that's going to trigger it.
I wonder if it adds some sort of data to the file, like history or something.
It's
It does
interesting.
something to index, even if you tell it not to
Yeah.
download, just so it could display it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a some sort of flag that says this has been indexed and that is actually changing some portion of the file header or something. That's
I don't
interesting.
know. That's be
Excellent.
weird.
That is. That is. Um, a great discussion. Thank you, Tina. Thanks for bubbling that up, and thanks for Enrique for your perspective on that. We all learn something new every day around here. Um, I know Ben had a couple of things that were on his mind. For the folks that have just popped in, anything top of mind? Any questions? Any concerns? Anything bouncing around your brain pan? Yeah. How's life on your side of the world, man?
Good, 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 good.
Good.
I'm gonna put a link in the chat. So this is something new that the
Yeah.
DJ at SpearTip has come across. I don't know if you guys have seen this. He posted on LinkedIn yesterday. But it's something, a new trend that we're seeing coming out of primarily Brazil. And it just started on like January 6th using this particular user agent. And it's a massive amount of brute force attacks, and some of them successful, some of them not. Um, really hitting the accounts hard that don't have MFA. And just something that we should just wanted to bring up to you guys. We're MSA, we're looking at a rule, for it. As far as percentage wise, we kind of broke it down across all of our different like organizations, your actual like customer orgs. It was probably about 0.05% of organizations that have been affected by this. But it's using this was fast HTTP, which basically allows it to do a lot of HTTP requests within a short period of time. And so it's apparently a really fast way for them to attack to see if someone's using like a common password or whatnot. But we saw it with MSA. We have probably about 100 or so different partners, and we only saw it on like one account. And so we reached out and said, "Hey, is this normal? Are you coming in from Brazil?" And they're like, "No." So, and then we also found out that person didn't have MFA turned on. But so something to keep in mind. We'll be talking about it in more in depth. DJ will be on the Thursday call, but wanted to get it to you guys so you saw it.
Hey Ben, I
It
have a
was
question about this. I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh, go Austin. Yeah.
So I saw this twice yesterday,
Mm,
um, and luckily like the geo-fence worked and they never
yes.
actually got access. But
See that.
I was wondering because normally when you see brute force, the result detail is like you go to Intra, right? You go to the
Mm,
sign-in logs, you click the actual thing in Intra, and then in the pop-up you can look at authentication details. And then like the detail says incorrect username or password, right? Like that is what it's expected when it's a
mhm.
brute force. But for these, for whatever reason, It does say method password, but then it says requirement multi-factor authentication. And then like the reason for the failure, it has to do with conditional access. And so now, now that I'm saying it out loud, I wonder if it's just because it was a conditional access violation, or I was wondering in the back of my head, if it has to do with abuse of the air quotes passwordless like Microsoft Authenticator method.
Hmm.
I'm kind of leaning against that. When I first saw it, that is the direction I was leaning, and I ended up turning it off. But anyway, I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that, or if you think it's just a straight password brute force, with the fast HTTP Go language.
That's a good question. Was the person that was being attacked, did they have a complex password, something that was...
No, 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 no. They used it everywhere, confirmed verbally. So
My question would
yeah.
be, do you think it was a successful username and password authentication and then MFA blocked them? Or as I know,
Or
the
conditional
whenever
access.
I've experimented with, the location, is
Hmm.
I think it will let you get to the MFA prompt, right? And then it'll say, hey, you can't get in there. But
So honestly, I haven't played around a lot with like the password list, and that's I think part of why I was asking. But
yeah.
technically, conditional access is not applied until after
Right.
the password, right?
Hmm.
Because it's applied at the perimeter, so to speak, or in the perimeter, really.
Correct.
But anyway, so I don't know. I guess I was just kind of spitballing in case you'd seen any abuse of the password list.
I guess my question would be, would the geo-fence kick in after the authentication and before the MFA, or after the MFA? And
So
one,
the result detail was false, like succeeded false for the
mm-hmm.
password, even though it
Okay.
showed like success or like interrupt. And that's what was so
Okay.
weird. And that was just one of them, right? But then the other one, it was showing success. And so the one it was showing false, that was one that kind of had me confused and had me thinking, is this passwordless related? But you could be right. It could just be showing false because it's a malicious IP. So Microsoft isn't going to give them an answer on it, on if it worked or not, or because, it was conditional access violation. So it doesn't return an answer for them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Um, I mean, that would be a new feature. But anyway, I just kind of had that thought. And when you mentioned that, I was like, all right, let's see if I can get a quick answer. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, and it's also hitting a different, it's hitting the Azure Active Directory Graph API as well, which was kind of strange. So that might account for some of the bizarreness. I don't think it's taking the normal way of authenticating.
yeah,
But I think it's definitely very new. I haven't seen anything as far as like software um that has just recently emerged.
right. Like some
Um,
GitHub repo
yeah,
from
exactly.
John
And that's the first
Strand.
thing that I went. I was like, maybe it's a
Yeah,
GitHub project, maybe it's somebody using
right.
it for malicious intent. From when when we were DJ and I were looking at it, it's like we're looking it's a lot of Brazil IP addresses, but it's all like different ASNs, different like
Yeah,
what,
it's
like
like
hundreds
home
of IPs.
addresses. And it
Yeah.
was Vietnam, Russia, and Brazil in our
Yeah.
case.
And I was thinking, my thought was, what about like maybe like a botnet or something like that, that's, affecting
Yeah.
some sort of popular software that's like really popular in Brazil or these other countries.
Wow.
And then there's like just bam, just hitting all these IP addresses. I mean, I know 0.5% is a very low percentage, but for something that has just started like what, like last week, it's not a
Right.
bad. I think we're just starting to see it.
Yeah. I'll
But
post the rule that I tried to make to do something about this, but I don't think it's going to be successful. But oh, I can't even send it. Anyway, it's basically conditional access violation event. The
mhm.
description is outside approved location and it's not coming from a mobile phone or a managed device. And anyway, we'll see if that gets anywhere. But
Well, and one thing that we saw, we did see a couple of successful authentications from outside of proof, like that normal event. And like our team uses the outside approved location as well as with unknown devices. So our system did, with that one account that we saw it affect, it did trigger that rule to say, hey, we're seeing outside approved location from an unknown device. And then our team jumps in and says, hey, it's coming from this location that we're not used to seeing traffic from. Is this normal? Can we block this, or should we update the whitelist?
Yeah,
So that's something, it's still outside, and at least thankfully it still shows up that way.
right,
But yeah,
for sure.
definitely, you can still do it based off of agent, right? So if you just want to set up a rule that
True.
says if the agent is fast, because honestly, I did a search for fast HTTP for the last year, and the only results I had was just started from January 6th, and thought
Mm,
that was kind of funny and weird. But
yeah. Yeah, I have a
so
rule that looks for suspicious user agents and it
yeah,
anyway, so I think that's where I'll put it.
yep, it's probably a good
Cool.
idea. Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Ben.
Oh, of course. No,
Thank you,
it's
Austin. That's a great dive into that. Love to see your results shared on our Discord server. We have a Discord server if
Sweet.
anybody doesn't know
Yeah.
that.
um,
Um, Stephen, I see in the chat you might have were poking around. Did you see anything interesting you want to share?
Well, it looks like it may have just been a conditional access violation, which
yeah,
was
seems as if
outside of the location, which I guess may not necessarily mean a sign-in event, right? Those could be failures. Is that what we're kind of seeing?
yeah, exactly. A conditional access violation basically mean conditional access did its job and prevented this from happening. But
Right.
yeah, we
Okay.
saw uh, about 17% of the events that were using that agent were conditional access violations. So it just shows that everybody is, people that can use it are using those geo-fencing, which I think is good. It's defense in depth and everything. So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think it would
Absolutely.
be it'd be cool to be able to. That's one of the other features I think. Being able to update some of these like trusted locations
mhm,
um, within the system, and maybe add some of those in an easy way. Um,
definitely.
that'll be that'll be nice. So yeah, looks yeah, it's kind of like going through the risk report and looking at the failures and seeing
Mhm.
all of the attempts out there. That can be shocking sometimes.
Yeah, we've started incorporating some of those risky like activities with a couple of different rules. So it's that definitely is going to be helpful. And I said we have a lot of things planned for this year too, and hopefully I think these kind of rules and some sort of like machine learning would be really helpful as well to identify these trends. And thankfully, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm still I'm surprised DJ caught that in so very quickly, and but that's really shows the benefit of having this community where we can spread this
Absolutely.
information within less than a week. We're seeing this activity, and all of our partners are becoming aware of it.
Even Enrique, when he can't remember why he raised his hand.
He remembers now. My Zoom keeps on telling me that I'm doing thumbs up, and I was like, oh, okay,
No,
there's.
my bad was I pledge allegiance to the flag. So, Stephen, did I dream? Sorry, my head's been like usually all over the place. I guess in this thing called Discord, did you mention something about? I think it was in DefenseX. Someone mentioned about and tagged me about
Yeah,
having
I saw
SaaS
you were
alerts
over
and
there. I just
monitor.
recognized you. Yeah, and so it was it's a system that we used too. We started using that, and um, I'm always looking for new ways to. I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to find ways to use the data in that system in more places, and trying to see where I might be able to plug that in.
I think it was a great idea. I don't know if you want to share, because I interpret it one way and I try to respond to how I interpret it, but that's usually not too good. I don't know if you want to share here with Ben and Anthony, see if some might have some more input
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, absolutely. We use the DefenseX web
Mm-hmm.
filter, and it has an extension that it works with, and so gives pretty nice kind of DLP capabilities where we can tell if there's uploads or downloads happening, to see those sorts of events. And also gives password sort of intelligence and hygiene scoring and stuff.
Okay.
And we have reports, but as a as kind of like a sign-in event, I thought it was a cool sort of endpoint sort of event that would show maybe like, maybe what SaaS apps they're logging into, maybe what sites they're logging into that are interesting. And then if they have like a, red flagged password, that could even trigger an alert. Their system doesn't have a lot of custom alerting capabilities at the moment. And so SaaS Alerts has really, really good rules and alerting capabilities. And so, yeah, that was one that really piqued my interest.
I think one of them was so they have an extension with low reputation. I don't know if I could share my screen and show it really quickly, guys.
Yeah, great idea.
I thought that was a great idea. Proud of myself because I think I did interpret correctly what you were trying to say. So
that was one of the ideas. Yeah, we want to try to track some usage and it has the inventory basically because of where it lives.
So we got this extension with low reputation so DefenseX uses both an agent on the device for DNS binding, and it also at a kernel level, and it also has a plugin for the browsers. So this is the one I shared the video a while back that they could stop the evil Genix with the way they're set up. But so these extensions with low reputations that are picked up. Well, I guess in general, is there any way to integrate to pull telemetry out of DefenseX for SaaS alerts activity and things like that?
Enrique, your friend Steven did exactly what we should do here. Anytime you guys see a line of business app or an MSP tool like this, and you're like, man, this is really great, but it's another pane of glass to look at. Wouldn't it be wonderful I could take what I want out of DefenseX and put it into SaaS alerts, then link that to Respond and everything else? Steven did the right thing. He jumped into Nolt and said, hey, can we please have this? People have been to upvote. We've talked about it on the back end. It let our developers know, hey, there's someplace they should be focusing their attention. So if anybody doesn't have access to our little Nolt area, which is a sort of not exactly a roadmap, but it's sort of an upvote, downvote, things that are important to you, our developers pay a lot of attention to that. So please join that discussion. Reach out to your account manager, yell at them. They can add it to Nolt if you don't want to, have something else you got to worry about. But Stephen, thank you for doing that. It reminded me to tell our dev team that I've seen a number of folks using this, even Enrique. So yeah, that's the process to answer your question, Enrique, is to shout it out, give our guys some ideas of where to focus.
I wonder what their API is like. I don't see too much about that.
Well, I was going to say they have a similar sort of weekly calls and stuff, and so I'll kind of jump on this week's just to chirp up over there. But yeah, they have a pretty good API. It is on that site. I think it's in the feature request.
Okay,
awesome, thank you, Enrique.
But yeah, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, the only thing I see is the app and API protector, but I think that's more of a service.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, I can't get that. I don't have a sign in. Let's see, partner API.
Yeah, there is a Swagger. It is on that.
Oh, they do. They have a Swagger hub. Okay.
You'll be able to find it. Yeah.
YAML file in that link I sent.
Yeah, it's basically the same. And so
it'll
have some comments.
Yeah, if you want to send it over to me that way, I can if I can give that to our team, that saves them some legwork and we'll get them looking at this a lot quicker.
Does the one on the chat work?
No, it wants me to sign in.
Oh, okay. So I downloaded a file. I guess I can. I'm not going to be able to share it here.
Yeah, you can shoot me an email if you want.
All right, here it
Okay.
is.
You got my email address.
I do not.
You do too.
Oh, tell me I stole you an email. It's gonna be Thursday and I'm
No.
gonna say it again. The 25th
It's
time.
okay, man. I see
Cool.
where it is. Okay, no, that's awesome. That's perfect, actually.
Yeah, enjoy. Thank you.
Cool, thank you very much.
So
I
we'll be
will
ready tomorrow. Thanks, Stephen.
A
glad to meet
second
you.
now.
I'm gonna put this into note.
Too bad. I already did it.
Oh,
Oh,
never mind
Anthony's
then.
trying to take the credit here. You better put
No, no, no. When you guys are talking
Stephen's
about far
idea via
deeper
Enrique.
subjects. No, when you
Hey,
guys are
hey,
talking
go with
about
what
deeply
works.
technical things that I don't understand, then I try to go do something useful in the background. I know there's a couple of folks on here that might be a little new to our ecosystem. And what you're seeing here is exactly the challenge and the blessing of how other applications are built. Some applications, apparently like DefenseX, appear to have a rich, robust, as we say, API that is capable of sharing syslog data and all kinds of fun stuff. And there are other applications out there that have very weak APIs that don't present anything useful to our community. So, as Enrique and Stephen said, hey, the next time I'm on a call with my software developers, with this guy who sells me this software, I'm going to remind them, for the community, not just for SaaS alerts, for the community, your APIs need to be open so we can monitor or maybe even push back some changes. So that's sort of my little soapbox thing for the last couple of years is everybody who writes software needs to have their API open. Otherwise, I can't tell who's doing what. And that's really what SaaS Alerts does. And the more applications that have open APIs, I think the more intelligence we can all pull from those and then make a truly informed decision about what are those accounts doing, what activity is actually happening there. So anytime you're in front of a developer or anybody with any influence on any of your applications, tell them that. It's solid messaging and it'll help us all out.
It might be the only place I have influence in, Anthony. Thank you.
You influence a smile on my face just about every time I get you on a call. You're a funny guy, Enrique. I enjoy your company. So
Thank you.
see, there it is. Yeah, you made me laugh. Guys, we're about halfway through our time here. This has been a great discussion on a couple of different areas. Has this sparked any madness? Reminded you, hey, I'd love to know how to make a respond rule or anything about any of this? Or do you have any questions about, the changes in the industry or the changes in Kaseya and where we're all going? That's what we're here to talk about.
Ooh, I
Rusty,
have a
you
question.
hit us.
So being new to this platform, when we did our onboarding, you noticed that there was somebody in Mexico. I checked in with the company and they said, yep, she's in Mexico. She's logging in from an approved device. So they weren't exactly sure how long she'd be there, but they expected about a month. So I went ahead and added Mexico to the approved list. This morning, I got an alert from Texas, approved device, her, but out of location. So I'm just a little fuzzy if I'm saying
Sure.
US is approved and Mexico is approved. Why am I getting an alert from Texas?
Rusty, it could be on how you're doing that. We can allow list or whitelist countries at a company level or at a user level. But if I make changes at the user level for, Sally's going to be in Mexico for a month. Great. I open up her account on the platform and I say, add Mexico. You just overwrote what happened at the company level. So for Sally, you have to have Mexico, where her keyboard is, and the United States back in, because that's the where she's touching servers. So that is a tiny bit of a lift, but the logic behind it is sound because if Sally's in Mexico and touching servers in the United States, that's perfect. But if you have, for instance, Sally's in Mexico and she maintains your servers in Spain, and she's not supposed to be in the United States, then you put her keyboard location and her server location, Spain and Mexico. Then if she's inappropriately logging in from the United States, you get easy visibility of that. Does that track?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one of those things that we kind of took the opposite approach. Instead of just blocking bad countries that we know we wouldn't want people to have access in, we went verb noun instead of noun verb. We said we're only going to allow discreetly the places that you say by company, by client, and so on. So yeah, just play with that. You're not the first person to trip across that because it is a slightly different philosophy.
Awesome. Thank you. That helps a lot.
No, absolutely. Um, Ben would Ben would like our dev team to change that methodology with a checkbox.
I just want an inherent, some people go crazy. They add a bunch of IP addresses on their org, and I'm like, oh man, now we got typo.
And Stephen, that's a great question. Is, the data you guys have built a respond rule. Hooray. How do I share that with the community or, copy that for my own use in documentation? Just about everything that you put into the platform in the GUI can be put in or pulled out via API. It's a lift. It does require some knowledge of that. I know there are a bunch of very technical and capable people on this platform, on this call, that have dug into that. So I would say if that's something you want to do, you want to snapshot all your rules or something, you can absolutely do that. Because I'm not that deeply technical and have given up on coding, I just do screen grabs.
Okay.
Ben, how would you let? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, yeah, I was saying that's going to be maybe one of the first things we try to do, if maybe in Roost. I don't know. That would be pretty
Yeah.
extensive, but we'll see what is possible first. Yeah.
I talked to a couple of guys at Roost, and since we were purchased by Kaseya, they were concerned about, and was it non-disclosure? Is that what it is? NDS?
Yes, NDA.
Yeah,
That's
NDA.
fair.
There
That's
you go.
fair.
So basically, they were going to reach out to Jim and see about getting a new one signed that between Kaseya and Roost. As I told him, pretty much only thing you have to do is really just give me a tenant, and I will happily make some of these because I'm doing very similar things with like
Yeah,
Zapier and N8N, and it's essentially the same technology, really. It's workflow automation,
right.
and
You can help make some more of these partners happy that are
yep.
Roost customers.
Yeah, because I can. It's
Today.
very
Yeah.
easy. It's very easy to pull the rules out with the API. Extremely easy. It's putting them back in. Our system's a little bit more temperamental on that. But if you decide if something can't happen between those two companies, and you want me to, I happily will give you the query structure that needs to be used in order to get it back in there, and happy.
Sure.
But yeah, it's.
Cool.
It's
I
fun.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were concerned that there was some competition with Cooperbots, and I was like, Cooperbots isn't anywhere. I don't think anywhere near what Roost does. I don't think Kaseya has a platform that does that. And besides, I mean,
Yeah. Well,
SaaS has always preached
I was trying to do the same
agnostic.
thing on the ConnectWise side, and I know that there is like a RPA or something something working over there, and so yeah, I trying to go with what works.
Yeah. Yeah, ConnectWise API. I've played around with that, and that thing is a beast. So ours is not
Yeah.
so horrible to deal with, but it definitely does require some nuance.
It's a technical lift. It is some time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it could probably be done with Power Automate too. One of our, I think Roman, he was looking at creating a form. So when people are going out
That's right.
of town, they could punch in their email address and specify either the time or the location that they're going to, and that would use our API to update that. And I told him it's completely capable of doing that.
Yeah, we're doing forms, already with onboarding and stuff, and
Yeah.
that should be pretty, doable. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I know we've kind of talked about this using, Roost and MSP bots and like for onboarding and offboarding of users. And I do recall when Roman was talking about trying to do some traveling rules that he could put in and out through some automation. Is anybody on this call doing anything we haven't thought of with automation? I'm looking at you, Stephen.
Have you thought of?
Well, I don't think much. I stand on the
Yeah,
shoulders of
not really.
giants, but yeah, okay.
Oh,
Just
no,
because
nothing yet. I think we're starting to get into creating more tickets and stuff. But yeah, we have our all of our respond organizations on at least. But yeah, trying to track down and nail down like the compromises that never leave the U.S. Those ones.
Right, right. To sort of snarkily answer your question, Enrique, I have seen partners who have multiple locations start to use some of that to change the workflow on how their ticketing ends up in the right hands of the right engineers in the right time zone or supporting the right clients and that sort of thing. But that's sort of in its infancy in what I've seen publicly shared. So that's why I keep asking this question about every 90 days to just see where we are, kind of do a
Regarding,
pulse
like,
check.
we use it to onboard 365 users. It provisions the user, purchases a license and not available from Pax8, assigns it, and then writes to ITU the user creds, which that puts a link in the ticket to automatically respond to the end user when the account's available. So that's one of the uses. We monitor conditional access policies. If there's any change in any conditional access policy, Roost immediately notifies us. We monitor mailbox size. If the mailbox getting too overweight, we'll automatically review what policies are assigned to the mailbox if online archive is turned on, and then set policies a 6-month. Give it some days. If that doesn't work, we'll do a 3-month, give it some days. And then if that doesn't work, to bring down the size of the mailbox, we'll automatically reach out to a technician and get them involved. So, I mean, there's a lot of different cool stuff.
Are you using
Excellent.
Roost for that? Is that what you're using?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Actually, you reminded me of something. I don't know, Ben, if you noticed that the account management tool now reflects licensing. So already on a couple of demos or onboardings, we've seen somebody, we converted to a shared mailbox and the licensing was left attached because Microsoft is perfectly happy to sell you Microsoft BI licensing for a shared mailbox. But the platform continues to evolve. And that question actually got asked over a year ago, and the dev guys finally got around to doing it, get some of that out of the back end. Ben, what is N8N?
That was one I was putting in the chat for people it's something very similar to Roost. It's more along the lines of, it starts like open source. So people that are wanting to run their own server, but it's very technical. And I think Roost has the benefit of having all these integrations built in, whereas this one is a little bit more of a manual for like it has like the popular stuff, like, like Microsoft and Discord and all the social medias and stuff like that. But it also has the capability of interfacing with just like webhooks and web HTTP requests, which would interface with our system. So just throwing it out there for people that might want to look into it, but don't want to invest in Roost quite yet.
Is this free?
Yeah, it's open source. Yeah, you can host it yourself, and yeah, but
Very
something
cool.
for the techie people.
Is there any communities of people sharing like what Roost calls crates?
Crates. So I get, are those workflows?
So yeah, a crate is
Sounds like a
the
workflow,
onboarding
yeah.
365 user. They have them pre-pop. So they have them basically when there's demand for something, Roost takes, like Aaron likes to copy it, R&D. What is it? Grip and so R&D, he uses the word for just kind of copy. So copy other people's ideas and stuff on the weekly calls on Friday. That's what the purpose, not research and development, but rip and I don't know, something. So they'll create a crate. So that's easy for me. I can deploy any type of crate because it only asks me what PSA are you using.
Yeah.
What do you want to use as a trigger? Simple things like that. I don't actually go code anything.
Yeah, they call those in they call them workflows, automations, and yeah, they have about 1,185 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, there's even one, a create Teams notification for new tickets and ConnectWise with Redis. That's kind of cool. But basically, yeah, you can import them straight into your stuff as well, and they're all there for the community. It's very
Where are
community
those?
supported.
Under templates or where?
Yeah, I put the link in the chat. Oh, DJ's here.
Yeah, I just saw a DJ popping in.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this
Cool.
is I wrote one for me personally that, whenever I post a YouTube video, it basically uses the Google API to fetch the description. It runs it through Chat GPT to generate an article and post the article on a site. So like all that's done within seconds. What would normally have taken me at least 15, 20 minutes is all done in the background, which I've learned a lot about it, but it's a little bit of a technical lift.
I thought this
But
was all your writing, Ben. You just broke my heart.
I'm not a writer. That's DJ's job. DJ writes all the cool articles. Yeah.
DJ, thanks for jumping in. We had discussed a little thing you published earlier in the call, and had some good feedback on that. Anything that you've tripped across since you wrote that you wanted to discuss?
Not really, to be honest. I've been on calls this morning, so I haven't looked at any of our data yet or touched base back with Ben, right? Ben was very helpful in providing some of the data sets used to further analyze, and he and I have been speaking about what else do we think is going on, right? Or what is the source from this? We haven't tied this yet to a campaign, right? So like phishing emails or other malware distributions. So that's really the next step we're trying to get to, right? Because then it becomes really
Excellent.
interesting. Now we just see the attempt.
Yep.
Yeah. Where did
Yeah,
this all start?
there's a couple of the IP addresses that we have seen. I've started running them through like Shodan and stuff like that. And there's a couple of other intelligence that we've been putting them into. But like one of the ones I pulled up, it was running like on a MikroTik router. And another one said that it was known for being a proxy server, but definitely seems I haven't seen one that's like resolves back to a website or something. So it seems residential, but that's just my impression.
Very cool. Very cool. And DJ, you're not alone. One of the other folks on the call had actually seen a little bit of that activity as well. So really appreciate you being part of the community and bubbling this stuff up so
Sure.
that we can make the entire community aware. Yeah, I look
Definitely.
forward to hearing some more details on that on Thursday. Absolutely. Guys, we've got about 5-10 minutes left. Anything else that we can cover today to help you down the road? For those of you who are new, we do this every 2 weeks. I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks. As we sort of teased, join us every Thursday at 1 Eastern for our SASE community call, a little more high level, but never a dull moment, and one of
So
the
fun.
meetings I never miss.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you guys ever have any questions, you want to need, like Megan, she said, oh, hey, you have a Discord. When you're on our Discord, if you're not seeing much, reach out to your account manager or reach out to us and we can promote you to a partner because the public facing portion of our Discord doesn't show exactly everything. Once we identify you as a partner, we expose a whole lot more. So if Discord looks boring, reach out and get some help on that.
How many years after, so you can recognize me as a partner?
DJ, we recognize you come in every way you arrive, and we've armored up all those entrances. No, I'm kidding. Stephen, any last thoughts?
I was just gonna plug that first that MSP users feature request. We have a customer who gets access to the portal and doing some alerts, and so I want them to be able to hit those rule triggers that are those links are so nice to see.
Yes, agreed.
If
For a
possible.
co-managed situation, that is absolutely, that's anybody who's not familiar with Nolt, be sure and reach out to your account manager, get access to that. It'll show you bright ideas from people like you. That's what has driven this platform to be where it is. If anybody hasn't heard the history, we started off thinking it was just going to be a widget. It was going to be something very simple. And we kept having partners asking, hey, this is great, but now that you got this data, could you do this with it or could you do that with it? Could you monitor this? Can you make a report like that? This development has very much come from folks like you. So keep that up, guys. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks all.
Happy 2020. Yep. Happy 25 to everybody. And we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks.
You
Bye, guys.
guys.
Thanks. Bye.
See y'all.